My name is Bob Bradley, and I'm a product line manager from Sonus. And also, I'll be chairing this particular session. And like I say, trying to keep us on track and get you guys out at 4 o'clock. Okay, so with that, I'll ask Stephane and the rest of the panelists to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
I'm Stephane Teral from Infonetics Research. I am covering the service provider VoIP and mobile infrastructure. So that's pretty much what I do.
Hi, I'm Ken Kuenzel, the founder and CTO of Covergence. We make a SIP session management product for the edge of service provider and large enterprise networks.
James Taylor, Director, Sustaining Engineering at Global Crossing. I'm going to talk about implementation of VoIP networks and over existing data networks, and also talk about some security concerns and mitigation steps we can take.
Okay, so here are the questions we're going to be going through, and like I said, keep thinking maybe different ones, for later in the session. Like I said, these came from end users, from different type of telecom directors, both from the private sector as well as the government. So first off, are security vulnerabilities overblown, or should we really have something to worry about? And if they are real, what are you, us guys, doing about it? Second one, as VoIP adoption continues, we get new features and applications, everything we heard this morning. What are the new concerns? I mean, we got some stuff today. What do we have to worry about going forward? Number three, from a security standpoint, do you recommend a hosted solution or customer managed as far from a security perspective? Fourth one, when you're implementing it in a customer's network, how do you ensure that the service is secure? How do you maintain that level of security ongoing as you add subscribers and services and what have you? And lastly, it's more of a vendor question. What's unique about what you offer, a product or service that help us solve the things up above? So the sequence is that we're going to let Stephane go first, give the analyst view, then the two vendors, and then finally JT representing the user community. Okay?
But basically on number one, is it overblown? No, it's not. Why is that? Well, because VoIP, the number of VoIP subscribers is actually growing fast worldwide. I don't know if you're aware, but there is 75 million VoIP subscribers worldwide. And I'm talking about phone-to-phone, okay? Forget about Skype. Skype is not part of my coverage because it's peer-to-peer and I just don't care. You can't count it. I mean, ask some of the service providers. I mean, they see people download Skype software. That's it, okay? They don't have any clue whatsoever what's going on in the network with Skype. So we don't count them. Well, just looking at phone-to-phone VoIP subscribers, 75 million worldwide. Asia Pac is leading the game with Japan first, then you go with basically in Asia Pacific you have 1/3 of that 75 million VoIP subscribers. The other third is in Europe with France leading the charge. There are 10 million VoIP subscribers in France. So yes, it is a big concern because this is, IP world, this is software based, and as we know it, you have hackers, getting ready to kick in. So now we do survey service providers. So on question, so there is, what is the top security concern that service providers are worried about? So when we ask them, because we conduct a survey every year, 24 service providers worldwide, and we do include some of the big guys out there. And amazingly enough, the big by number of VoIP subscribers, the big guys are incumbents. You have competitive like SoftBank in Japan, but NTT is a big guy when it comes to VoIP sub. Orange in France is a big guy. So when you ask them, what are you worrying about? They say for 88% of the service providers we interview, they worry about user device authentication and authorization. These are the primary concerns. Then next on the list is denial of service attacks and overloads. And in fact, overloads is increasing as a threat. They see it come. This is apparently the easiest way to really kill a VoIP infrastructure if you really want to mess up, based on what we see from our discussions. And on the other hand, at the bottom of the list, only 17% of these service providers believe spam over internet telephony is a concern. So, so far, so good. Have we ever seen, a major event? Not that I am aware of so far. I've not heard of any big thing going on. But on the other hand, you can say, what are service providers doing to address the problem? Basically, they are deploying session border controllers as traffic cops. And session border controllers today, and I'm talking about standalone session border controllers, that's the preferred solution so far. These session border controllers have become very powerful, and they are real traffic cops doing, more than they were actually invented for. So yeah, 60% of service providers deploy standalone session border controllers in their network. When you look at the 40% on the other side, it's spread out between deploying data firewall, session border controller integrated into other network elements, and particularly media gateway. Some service providers do deploy stun server with stun on CPE. So that's pretty much, what I can say on question 1 and 2, because the rest is more for a service provider to answer. Yes. Yes, I am.
Anything else? Okay. Ken, you want to?
Sure. Well, we can you want to just talk, so you don't have to get up all the time.
I got to stay awake.
Stay awake. All right. So, are we going to do just question 1, or are we going to just walk through them? Go through them all? Yeah. All right. So, are vulnerabilities overblown? No. There's lots of vulnerabilities. They track pretty much one-to-one with IP vulnerabilities. But I think what is overblown is the hype about the number of attacks, how many people are getting attacked, and what you really see, is attacks going on, out there today. The number one, cause of our DOS engine kicking in or some policy rule kicking in for attack is broken equipment. Right, you'll have a rogue phone go bad, a server go bad, one of your trunking partners, change configuration on a router that changes an IP address. It's network infrastructure, So when you think about security, you shouldn't be thinking about security from hackers and all the stuff that Bob will talk about with VoIP security. It's really protecting yourself not from the malicious, but from the plain out and out stupid out there in the world that are just coming in and doing wrong things. So that's, the single, biggest reason that we see kicking in. Yeah, we've seen a couple people, try, spam attacks and DOS attacks and things like that. But far and away, it's just broken equipment. When we have a call saying something kicked off, what's going on. And, to follow on with that, the number one thing, people want after that is how do I isolate it? How do I fault isolate, tell what's broken in the network? How do I quickly repair it and, move the fix? What's going on. They don't so much, care about the attack anymore. What they want to do is say, okay, I'm over that now. How do I get rid of that segment? How do I go back to the customer, tell them what to fix? How do I go back and tell them, that version of firmware, didn't work when he did the upgrade, or the upgrade didn't succeed? So it's the ability of, the box not only to mitigate the attack, but help you point back, to what the underlying cause of the problem was. So in our plans, if there was screenshots up there, we do lots of, tracing, dynamic, analysis of faults, CDRs, things like that, and try to give you forensics to figure out what's going on and fix and fault isolate. It doesn't do you any good if you're just protecting yourself and it's one of your customers out there and it's really a bad feature server or something like that.